In this segment, I'm going to discuss sex, relationships, dating, and boundaries. What's up, Brave Arts community? This is Sean Heineman here with another segment of A Scared to Be Married, wanting you to love fearlessly. I just wanted to jump on here real quick because I heard a Christian sexologist the other day listening to a podcast, and she was talking about boundaries, and she talked about how with your yes, the way people should celebrate your yes, it should be the same way that they celebrate your no. So let me give an example, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing with what she was saying. So to the degree that you say yes when someone asks you to do something and they respect that, it should be the same way that they should respect your no. I do believe that a lot of your maturity comes, you'll see how mature you are when someone tells you no. Now, what does all this have to do with marriage and relationships and dating? There's a lot of wives out there who struggle with sex being a duty, right? They don't look at it as pleasure. They look at it as like duty, like this is something that I have to do, right? So a lot of times they struggle with saying no to their husband if they don't feel like doing it. Now, I know a lot of times we, especially for Christians in the church, I get it, because we talk about, not denying one another and stuff like that. And then people throw out the whole, you the only person I can sleep with card and all this other stuff. But there's a lot of times that she might be tired. She might be dealing with some things. There could be a plethora of things, right? But the problem is when we don't respect her no. And I'm going to tell you how this play into even dating, how we have to rewire the way we think. Because when she say no as a man, we automatically thinking, I can't sleep with nobody else, or we get an attitude when she say no, and we thinking that, well, I married you, I signed up for this and all this other stuff, but we have to respect that. And I'll start with the men first. Let me say this. We have to exercise self-control. I think this is a big issue with men because we don't understand how important self-control is, and this goes back to dating. See, and this is no judgment here, okay? So whatever you do is what you do. If you're dating and you're used to being with a bunch of women and things of that nature, by the time you get married, you like, no, like, what is a no? I ain't used to no. You know what I'm saying? So now you got an attitude with her because she's having an off day. The thing about marriage is you're not going to have sex 365 days a year. Like, people get it twisted. You have to start thinking different. So when you exercise self-control when you're single, it makes it that much easier when you're married, right? I'm not saying that it's going to be a cakewalk, but you have understood self-control, that I just don't sleep around with everybody or anybody just because I just got the urge, right? It's one of those things where you understand that if I do plan on getting married, there are going to be times when we just don't have sex. Or again, when she doesn't want to have sex. And instead of trying to, shut down when she says no, or, there's going to be some consequences later because she said no, she's going to sleep with you in spite of, even though she don't feel like it. And that's where we have to mature as men, that if she don't feel like it, she don't feel like it. And we have to give her that space. The trick is you're so used to having sex with her, y'all having all this crazy sex when y'all are dating, right? But then as soon as y'all get married, the game changes. Now, here's where women have to step their game up too, because when you're dating as a woman, a lot of times women use sex as a tool to keep the man, right? And I'm not saying this is all women, but some, they use this as a tool. And then even sometimes there's even some women who would date lower a man that's maybe, I won't say beneath her, but kind of, she know that he's not going anywhere kind of guy, where, he doesn't have options if they're dating. I'm not saying exclusive, but if they're just kind of like just dating, she would use sex as a tool to keep him around because she know he can't get it from nowhere else, so she kind of using it as power against him. And then what happens is you take that into your marriage, right? You end up, you don't get the man that you want, you settle. And that's when you get married, and then you use sex as a weapon to keep him, which isn't fair to him as well. But a lot of times he don't know this, and sometimes women do this unconsciously. And again, I'm not saying this is all women, but there are some who do that. So we have to learn how to date in a healthier manner if we plan on marrying later, because that's where I feel that women struggle with saying no to her husband, because she's used to trying to keep a man that if I don't give him any when I'm dating, then I have to do what I can to try to keep him, so I'm going to give him sex. And that's how that translates into marriage, because it's like, oh, I got to keep my husband happy. I got to keep giving him sex. That's why a lot of times you can give him all the sex that he want, but if it's not like intentional, if both of you aren't intentional about it, if you're just doing it out of duty, eventually, and this isn't all men, that's why some men cheat. You can give him all the sex you want, but if he doesn't feel that genuine connection with you, that you're just doing it just out of duty, you giving him that starfish sex, like, he's gonna still end up cheating if that's what he want to do. I think it's one of those things where it has to be mutual, where we both feeling each other. And I'm not saying that we're always gonna be equal all the time. You know, there's gonna be people that's higher desire and lower desire. That's why people trip me out about sexual compatibility. I don't really believe in sexual compatibility, because somebody's always going to be higher or lower. It just depends. But that's a different topic for a different time. So I'm saying all this to say is that we have to learn, as men, we have to learn self-control and respect our wives when they don't feel like having sex, and still give her the honor and respect that she deserves as our wife, even though she said no, and you can respect that. And as wives, I think you have to be a little more intentional in understanding that this is what he needs, and that you're not just having sex just to please him. Like, you want to make sure that you're pleased too. I mean, isn't that half of the reason why you want to have sex? You want to be pleasured as well. So I think we have to do better in a dating department leading up to marriage. I think that is very important. So let's stop using sex as a tool to keep a man, and then we go into marriage with that mindset. And then as men, we have to exercise more self-control when we are single, because once we exercise self-control while we're single, then we will have master self-control when we're married, because you're used to controlling yourself. You don't, every time you see a woman, you're not just ready to just go sleep with her, because you have mastered that while you are single. So I believe, you know, I kind of know I was all over the place, but I was excited about this topic. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I would love to hear what are your thoughts on this. And I think if we just date more intentionally, especially if you desire to marry. If you're single, you don't plan on being married, enjoy yourself. I'm not against whatever you want to do, but if you plan on marrying, believe me, the way you date is going to go into your marriage if you plan on marrying one day. So I think we need to be more intentional about that. This is Sean Heineman here at It's Scary to Remarry, wanting you to love fearlessly. Make sure you share this video with a friend. Again, leave a comment below. I would love to hear from you. If you are listening to this on podcast, make sure you leave a review on Apple Podcasts as well, and hit the subscribe button. Take care, people.